Vikrampati Singhania, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you
So
for
much.
having me.
So I just want to ask you about the expo, because this is something more than 150% of in terms of size. If you can.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is the sixth edition of the ACMA Automechanika show, and it's been growing year on year. This year it's a massive 51,000 square meters, over 870 exhibitors, 3,000 brands that are being exhibited, close to 20 countries being represented, and so from a auto aftermarket perspective, it's the largest show that has been held, and we are hoping that this will continue to grow as we go forward.
Any eco-friendly initiatives that ACMA and MESA both have taken in organizing this? I think in the Bharat Mobility Show, even the flex was made
Yes.
of eco-friendly
Yes.
materials.
No, absolutely. Very good point that you make, that eco-friendliness has always been the center of what ACMA does. And in a way, you look at all the carpets that have been put in this place, very specially designed, which are all eco-friendly carpets that came from fibers that have been reused,
Okay.
and they will go back to being reused as they go forward. Overall, if you see the environment, the flex boards, everything is being reused and it'll be recycled. So, as an ACMA perspective, we've always believed in this whole green agenda. We work with a lot of our plants in our member companies on the ESG perspective. So it's a great initiative, and yeah.
Super, super. At the inauguration, I think the main minister mentioned about what the government did, and then ACMA responded by saying, no, it is for us to action it. So, what kind of actions that you, as ACMA, will be taking?
No, a great point. I think what the government has done and has been continuously doing, they've been listening to the industry, and they've been responsive. They've acted on a number of issues, and even from a national perspective, look at the two FTAs amongst a number of FTAs, in addition to UK and New Zealand. I mean, a whole bunch of FTAs. The big EU FTA and the big trade agreement with the US are massive deals that the government of India has done in the interest of all industries and the people of India. From an auto component perspective, yeah, the EU and the US both are very large trading partners. So close to 30% of our exports goes to the US and 30 odd percent goes to the EU out of $20 billion exports. So both of these opening up and continuing to add new markets is a massive opportunity. From an industry perspective, I think the ball is back in our court to be able to take advantage of this. You might remember quite some time back we had talked about growing $20 billion exports to doubling, tripling it over the next few years. And the industry is working very hard to make sure that quality delivery is made to utmost standards. And even for global markets, I think what the industry is benefiting from is the global supply chain disruption. India is playing a very important part in being able to become the option to global buyers for parts from India. And there are two opportunities. One is, of course, to do traditional parts, which means that you become the last person standing agenda, and Indian factories and Indian businesses continue to make them technology prowess, making them more efficient, industry, technology tools on digitization, etc. So that is one pillar that the industry has been working on to become suppliers to the world. The second is as more and more electronics start coming in, as you will go around and see the show also, what used to be traditional parts, now every company, every stall you will see, they've started adding a little bit of digital and technology and new technology parts. So while that builds out as we go forward for global supply chains, and India is already very good in software, so our ability to be able to play a significant part in the electronics supply chain, as that builds out, the last person standing agenda continues to build out. So the industries, I think, will benefit from this, and it's a great opportunity from an industry perspective to continue to grow the industry multifold as we go forward.
Yeah. What drastic changes that you foresee due to this? There are business coming in, but what drastic changes that you foresee, and then how do you address it?
No, drastic changes, I would always see it as a positive. I don't see it as a threat, because there are a number of technologies in the EU and in the Western world that India can take advantage of. And especially while this new premiumization, electronification is happening in the whole industry, these are technologies that we can bring in, absorb, build joint ventures, get technology agreements to be able to take advantage of. So these drastic situations, I think, are to our long-term benefit. It will benefit the Indian consumer. We'll be able to bring in these technologies, localize it, and ultimately offer to the consumer. And given India's background in electronics and software, I think we'll be able to significantly contribute. The industry will certainly have to move. The industry has to move from traditional parts to these newer technologies, and that's where the industry has to play their part to make this transition.
Okay, are there issues to be ironed out and then you seek support from the government?
No, government, we always have been very positive, and at least for the industry, they've always supported us. So there is no real ask. We continue to support government's global footprint initiative. We continue to work with them to say let's open newer and newer markets. They've already harmonized the GST. I think that has been a big help to the auto components industry. It helps in taking the spuriosity away. It's formalizing the whole auto component industry, and we continue to work with the government to see how we can continue to grow our export agenda.
Okay. A few days ago, when you announced the H1 performance, there was a drop in 180 million of, I think,
Deficit.
Deficit against a surplus of 150. So, how do you see this, changing? And then, in the next few years, probably once the FTAs come into full force, what kind of a growth can we see?
No, there was no drop. So the export numbers continue to hold steady. Imports went up a little bit, and I think imports went up also because of certain technologies. As we move to certain technologies, some initially, as you've seen in this industry and other industries, some new technologies where volumes are still not large enough, where Indian capacities are yet to start building out. Some imports have taken place, but given our track record in the past also, we broadly stayed equal. 1 or 2 quarters we have been positive, 1 or 2 quarters we've been lower. But overall, we've from a trade deficit perspective, we've always matched the two. My view is that India global export opportunity is massive.
Massive.
And that is something that I believe that in the long run, that will start playing out as we go forward, especially with the new FTAs. The mood is also positive. In the last few days, we are hearing from our member companies that conversations have restarted, RFQs have restarted, and so I think that will start playing out. Also, what will happen is what is being imported is the new technologies, the new electronics, and so on and so forth. As that localizes, I think this will start reversing as we go forward. So, for certain technologies, for certain raw materials, I think India continues to stay an importer. And as slowly, more and more localization takes place, that will start. And the government is very, very well aware of it. They've been supporting all these initiatives on localization. OEMs have been very, very focused on localization. It also de-risks their own supply chains. So it's a win-win for everybody.
Okay.